Hello and welcome to our first mental health workshop with the topic stress reduction. May is the mental health month and we are hosting 4 live workshops every Friday during your and our lunch break. We have different exciting topics and specialists for you. My name is Lisa and I'm responsible for the health management of Hegelmann Group, and now I'll pass the word to our coach Steffen Hermann.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm very happy to be here. So it's a real honor to support Hegelmann in these workshops. I was a former international manager. I'm now a personal health coach, so I know what I'm talking when it's about stress. So what is awaiting you in the next 20 minutes? I give you some insights on stress. Since it's a workshop, we do some exercises, a small one and a little longer one. There's, of course, some practical tips for you. I have 5 practical tips waiting for you. And at the end, both of us want a commitment from all of you. Just listening doesn't give you much. You need to commit yourself and you need to take something with you. So that's the end of the session. So when it's coming to stress, stress is often perceived as something bad, as something dangerous, and in a way that's true. But initially, or originally, actually, stress was a important survival strategy, because when we were threatened in former times, this reaction kicked in. It enabled our body to either fight or flight. So it was a useful, let's say, reaction of the body where we could either escape, let's say, a dangerous animal, or we could fight the dangerous animal. And when threatened, different things happen to your body, and you know that with every stress reaction. So your muscles are tightened, your heartbeat goes up, your blood pressure goes up, your lungs open up. So there are several things which happen. So your body is made ready for action, so to speak. On the other hand, since you need every energy for this reaction, other functions in the body are shut down, and that's, for example, the digestion system or your immune system. So and that's why very often if you're stressed, you have, for example, problems with your stomach. And this reflex, as I said, was enabling our ancestors to escape. And then when they escaped, they went back to their cave and they could relax. So the reaction normally wasn't really long. It was over in a few minutes. You were either dead or you could escape, so to speak. The problem today is that our daily stress we encounter today is normally lasting longer, and you cannot get out of the situation as quickly as nature has, let's say, intended to do that. So it's a persisting stress, and that's, of course, not good. So the stress response in the body, as I explained, makes you ready for this. And there are 2 major players in your autonomic nervous system, which are actually counter players, so they should be in balance. One is called the sympathetic nerve, and the other one is called the parasympathetic nerve. And in our life, normally, the sympathetic nerve gets the majority of the time and is more often triggered, so we are more in the sympathetic state, which is the stress reaction I just explained. And the other reaction, which is meant or designed by nature, which is called rest and digest, very often is not really allowed to kick in. So we're more on the fight and flight and not so much on the rest and digest. But we need this rest and digest phase for body regeneration, relaxation, to get back to normal, get back our energy and so forth. So we are under permanent stress, and we are imbalanced over time. And if this state persists over a longer time, several weeks, months maybe, you can become ill, you get heart strokes and so forth. So then not all stress is the same. You see 2 pictures here on the screen. There's one guy chased by a bull, and the other one, and that's probably more what we have in our office life, you get approached by the customer, there are phone calls, emails, maybe your boss is asking you for something. So a lot of things are pouring down on you, and you cannot really escape from it. And now a question, and I ask a question, and it takes a little time to get that through to you, and you can use the chat feature to answering. Both men are stressed, you would agree with that. the question is which of the one is slightly better off, and you just give us your opinion in the chat. And while you're doing so, I explain four accompanying circumstances which define how you experience the stress. The first one obviously is the duration, and we just said nowadays the duration is longer than originally intended. So that's number one. Number two is the doses. So how big is the stress? And that can be very different. For example, if somebody is afraid of a spider, he gets a much higher dose of stress compared to somebody who might be relaxed with spiders. So it's very individual. The fourth thing is interesting because it's about control. So are you in control of the situation? A good example for that would be if you drive a car and you are very fast and you at least think you have it under control, but your driver, you're on the passenger seat, is not steering the car and might be a little bit afraid of the situation, so his or her stress might be higher than your stress driving the car. It's a question about control. And the last circumstance, also very important, and you can think about when you are stressed, do you have the understanding that the stress is meaningful, so it has some sense in itself, or is it just senseless and you're just stressed? So if you think there's a good reason for having the stress, it's not, you experience the stress a little bit milder than if you don't think it has some meaning. So back to the question, which one of the two, I'm not sure if we have some comments here.
Not really, but I think they agree with us.
They agree with us, yeah. The guy who runs away from the bull has the advantage that he can work off this energy. He can, the energy was built up in this Körper, the stress hormones, he can work them off. The other guy, no movement, no working off, no relaxation. So this is what we normally have in nowadays. So the big question is now, how can I reduce stress? And there are several ways to do this, and the big trigger of that is actually we need to activate the parasympathetic part of our automatic nerve system. And that can be done in several ways, and I just demonstrate one way, and Lisa will join me on that. So you just sit back in a supine, relaxed position. Your hands are clasped behind your head. Make sure your two thumbs are going to the end of your spine. It's the upper two cervical vertebrae, so you give a slight pressure there. You drop your elbows outwards, and now without moving your head, keep your head straight. Your eyes are now looking at the tip of your right elbow, so you look to the right side until salivation kicks in. So you will feel some water in your mouth. You just stay there. Eyes back to the front, and then you look to your left elbow, same thing. You just try to look at your left elbow, don't move your head. So now you again feel the salivation kick in. Some of you might even be starting to yawn. So the trigger here, and we're done now. Hope everybody could relate to that. The trigger here is you do something, you do an exercise, and that stimulates your nerve system, and then the automatic nervous system kicks in and gives you some parasympathetic impulse. And that's how you need to activate, or you don't need to, but you can activate your relaxation phase, your rest and digest phase. And I give you now 5 examples, 5 practical tips in order to do so. And one is really very mighty because it's just saying breathe slowly. And for those of you who do yoga, for example, you know yoga is not only about moving your body, it's also about breathing technique. And also in meditation, you breathe differently. And that's what you can use here. And you don't need to do yoga. You don't need to be able to meditate in a good manner. It's just this slow breathing technique. And it's triggering the parasympathetic nerve. It's called the so-called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. So it's a technique which triggers the nerve. And we do a 3-minute exercise for this. So join us on there again. Sit in a relaxed posture. And we breathe out 6 times per minute. And that means we have a 5-second inhaling and a 5-second exhaling. And breathe in through your nose. breathe out through your nose or either your mouth. If you breathe out through your mouth, just use the so-called lip break. You do like, or just a little bit break the breathe. And make sure you breathe into your belly. So don't just use the breath breathing, you breathe into your belly, which we normally don't do so much, and then the relaxation starts with the exhaling part. In order to help me a little bit, I use my iPhone. I set the rhythm, you just follow, you can close your eyes, just listen to me, or you look at my hands and I'll lead you through this. So here we go. So we do it together, and as I said, it's a 5-second breathing in, and we start with the breathing in. So now, inhaling slowly and exhaling slowly. Find your rhythm, and again, inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. Try to relax and continue inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. 4, 5. And again, inhaling 3, 4, 5, and exhaling 3, 4, 5, and inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly, and inhaling slowly and again exhaling very slowly. Find the rhythm, inhaling very slowly, 4, 5, and exhaling very slowly. Make sure your belly is filled when you're inhaling very slowly, and again exhaling very slowly. Feel the relaxation. Inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. Again, inhaling very slowly and 5, exhaling very slowly. Keep going. Again, inhaling very slowly, 4, 5, and exhaling very slowly. And inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. Again, inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. Again, inhaling very slowly and exhaling 4 and 5, and inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. Again, inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. One more. Inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. One more. Inhaling very slowly and exhaling very slowly. So that was 3 minutes. Now, you can keep your eyes closed, feel in yourself. I mean, you should feel now a much more relaxed feeling, and this is a powerful exercise you can actually do as a morning routine. I sometimes do this in the morning. You can use it for better sleep when you cannot fall asleep. Just do it lying in bed and try this 3-5 minute exercise. Or you use it after a stressful meeting, something happened, angry customer, whatever, and as soon as you get out of the situation with this 3-5 minute exercise, you can easily get your system balanced again. So try it. You need a little bit kind of experience with it, but it works quite well. So that was number 1, breathe slowly. Number 2, obviously, is get moving. When you remember the guy with the bull, chased by the bull, when we cannot work off the energy from the stress, the stress hormones just persist in our body and they are floating our body, and we cannot get out of it. So do regular sport, and you can actually use every normal situation of the day. So integrate the movement into your day. So don't use the lift or the escalator, use the stairs instead. Don't use your car if you can, use your bike instead. Walk your dog, go to the bakery, don't take the car. I mean, think about ways, creative ways where you can, without spending more time, you can integrate movement into your daily work, daily private life, whatever. So this is really something where your body gets relaxed because it can work off this daily stress. And make sure, one caution I have here, don't overdo it. I was myself that way, so I worked hard as a manager and then I trained for a marathon. Don't make it a competition again. I mean, don't put a stressor on a stressor. Make sure it's mild, it's with a smile on your face, it's moderate exercise. Don't overstress it. The third one is laughing. By laughing, you can also trigger, like we did with the eye movement, you can trigger your parasympathetic nerve. And the great thing about it, like again we did with the eyes, it works even if you're not in the mood to laugh. So you can grin or you can try laughing. Your muscles, your laughing muscles trigger the nerve, and then your brain thinks, oh, good mood, and suddenly you feel better. So that's also something you can try. It feels a little bit odd to do that when you're not in the mood, but it triggers the same nerves. No matter if you are in the mood or not in the mood, you will feel the mood. So, and it doesn't only get your stress hormones out of the body, it also releases happiness hormones, so you're even better off. And by the way, children laugh up to 400 times per day. Adults only laugh 15 to 20 times per day, so we lost something there, obviously, and you can try to discover your childlike side and just try to laugh, and you will get the stress away. Don't laugh maybe when the customer is angry at you and has a complaint, but do that when you close the call. Then the fourth one is also interesting. You can use cold stimuli, I call that. So when you do your normal morning shower normally, warm water, wash yourself off, and before you go out of the shower, turn the water to cold. And you can get into this gradually. You don't need to do the whole body at the first time, but go from bottom to top, go from outside to inside, go from right to left, so the heart can adjust to it. It's a quick stressor, but very quickly the parasympathetic nerve kicks in, and it's a very good impulse for the parasympathetic nerve. So try this, also very, very good. You can take a cold run in the morning, but a cold stimuli also activates your parasympathetic part of your autonomic nerve system. Last tip out of the 5, do digital detox. It's amazing how these things, it's a blessing and a curse in itself. Some people don't know there is a little button here. It's called the shut off button, so you can use that. Some people don't even know it has this thing, but you can shut it off. The average smartphone user unlocks the screen up to 80 times a day, and every time you open up the screen, a potential stressor comes. It's an email, it's a news from your friend, somebody wanting something from you, a missed call. So whenever you use the phone, be aware that it's triggering your sympathetic, your stress part of your nerve system. So give yourself a gift and shut it off for an hour or 2 hours a day, and get into some relaxation and just ban that from your daily life for at least maybe an hour or so. So these are the five tips, and now it's up to you. Don't run away without doing a commitment. Maybe you can give us it in the chat. I will quickly repeat. So whatever you're not doing today, from those 5, some of you are probably doing some of that already, but whatever you're not doing, pick at least one and share with us what you pick. So it's either breathing slowly, get moving, laughing, cold stimuli, cold shower, and digital detox. So share with us what you're going to do. Take something with you in order to really reduce your stress, so you can actively integrate that in your life, and make sure you just not do that for 1 or 2 times. Make it a habit, and you will have a less stressful life from now onwards.
So we have a lot of greetings and hellos from all around the world, I see. And one question is there any technique to have a positive stress, or like even to use the stress for a positive way.
And that's actually, for example, when you, I don't know, when you do jumping out of a plane with a parachute or so, that's a positive stress because it's really a kick in, you feel the adrenaline. I mean, it's also, you get some endorphins out of it. So as I said in the beginning, stress can be also positive. The question is only, do you feel it as a positive stress? As I said, has it some meaning and is it over? I mean, this jumping out of a plane is not taking 8 hours. I mean, it's over after a few minutes or so, and then the relaxation kicks in. So whatever you're doing, you need to make sure that it's not lasting. And there is something which is called euch stress, which is a positive stress. If you are in a flow, you get, I mean, something even at work, you get it running, you get it going. This can be very positive. You don't even feel the time, but as soon as it's too much, it becomes a distress. So you make sure the dose is there and the meaning is there and you can have control over it. That's actually the trigger. Okay?
Yes, another one said that sometimes stress can be a motivation to finish some tasks or some jobs. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's what I also would see as a positive stress. Stress as such is a healthy thing because we need the stress to activate us. So there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that if it lasts too long or if we don't work it physically off, because you need to make sure whatever you're doing, your body wants to move or needs to move to let it go. And if you cannot move in that situation, you need to have this movement later on.
So, yeah.
Okay.
One more, it's like, she said, no, it's a he, sorry. Very good way to control stress. Counting till 10. If it does not work, count till 20. I think it was just a joke. So.
And that's a good one because what that does, if you count, if you have a situation and you count to 10, that's only putting a gap between what you perceive and what you do then. So you put a gap between the action and the reaction. And then you can already become calmer because you let yourself not immediately react. You don't immediately fight that. You just you give yourself a break and then you decide. And then you have a better and milder response very often. Yeah. So it's a good tip. So that's the 6th one. Today you can take that as well. Yeah.
I think sometimes it's also like, don't take it too serious, everything. So
absolutely. That's actually a good...
Just think about it maybe a half an hour later and then...
Great point, Lisa. And that's actually one of the things we will discuss next Friday when we come to mindset and positive mindset, because that's has to do with stress as well, but it's also about how I think about things and how can I put my mind to perceive things and how I cannot put my mind to perceive things. So that's a very good comment.
So,
and, yeah, hope you.
No, I think that's it. But if we get any other questions, we can answer it later and have like a chat after.
So hope you liked it. Hope you took something with you. If you liked it, tell your colleagues so they can join us
next week.
Next week or the week thereafter. If you didn't like it, don't tell anyone. They can find them out themselves. Then.
But we have different topics, so maybe one of these will touch you, or
definitely. And they are good topics, and hopefully everybody make sure you take something with you. That's the point.
Thank you for joining, and yes, bye. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, and a not so stressful rest of the day, hopefully. All right.